By the way, Zach, how do you like the backdrop?
Oh, I love it. And by the way, you just like in general, your video has been so crisp the last 2 nights. Last night you were super crisp. So
it's a good feeling, man. I just tested my internet before we went on. I'm like 340 right now.
That's crazy, man. What internet plan do you have with them? Because we both have Sparklight, right?
Yeah, I pay $91 a month.
Yeah, so I'm upgrading I'm doubling my speed next week because I'm at the one below you probably, and I go about 200 gigs over my limit every time.
Yeah.
So I end up paying the 90 anyways.
Yeah. So we when Cable One turned into Sparklight, we were doing the 150, and then one of my friends was like, "Hey, did you upgrade because Sparklight charges the same price for the 300?" And I was like, "What the fuck?" So I called them and I go, "Hey, just found out you guys charge the same price for 300." And like, "Oh, would you like to upgrade?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you don't just let your customers know that."
See, we never had the 150 here. We have the 200 for 65, and then the 300 for 80, plus the 10 or whatever it is to rent your modem.
Yeah. So we do. So I think mine's like 80, and then I rent the modem. So it's $91 total. That's how much.
That's what mine's going to be. That's what mine's going to be starting next week, and totally worth it now that I'm home all the time.
But I wasn't able to use that basically because the only thing I had in this room, I have the Xbox and I have the PlayStation are both hardwired in. But that MacBook, I bought the dongle to go with the Ethernet, but it would not recognize it. And it was like, I bought one that was 40 and then one that was 70 and then one that was 120. And I returned all 3 of them to Staples because none of them worked. And so I told Bree, I'm like, "Hey, I want to start squirreling some money away to like buy a PC. Like I'm fucking done." And she's like, "Hey, you know how I have that gaming laptop that I never play? Like she uses it once every 3 months, maybe." She's like, "Why don't you use that for your show?" And so I was like,
what type of laptop is it?
It's
it's the kind that hits a home run.
Did you guys? How much you guys up now?
6-1.
Yeah, it was 5-0 when I came up here.
It doesn't even have a logo on it. I don't even know what it is.
Eric, dude, are we gonna hit the intro or what are we doing?
Yeah, we're gonna do it. Did you guys share?
Oh, I shared a day ago or two. Okay. That's my boy Eric that just chatted in the Twitch.
What did he say?
He said, "Yo."
I actually intentionally don't check the chat in case someone says in case someone's shit talking, not because I get bothered by it, but because it distracts the fuck out of me from making a point. Like in midpoint, like a few shows ago when your buddy chimed in, I couldn't focus on what I was saying anymore.
Well, here's the thing. I monitor the chat because I want to highlight the good ones. So you guys don't have to.
Yeah, I just don't switch over to it anymore. Right. I stay on the private chat.
I do because I'm ready to talk shit back.
Right. Okay.
Right.
Let's get this intro going. Well, uh-oh. Oh, there it is. Hi. Are you ready for sports?
Now with the best friends.
It's the sports program on TSPN with Derek, Zach, and Sean, who's been here the whole time. Head over to timespentpoorly.com and give the show a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and help move this show into more people's suggested lists. This show is also streamed live on many platforms, including YouTube, Twitch, and Periscope. Follow and subscribe so you don't miss out on an opportunity to chat in and give the guys a piece of your mind during the broadcast. Want to support the show? Great! Go to patreon.com/timespentpoorly to see how you can do that.
Now with
And now it's my pleasure to bring you the hosts of the sports program on TSPN, Derek, Zach, and Sean.
Hey, everybody, welcome to the show. We are live at 5-ish. It's actually 7 o'clock. 7:00.
Old habits die hard. We haven't done a 5 o'clock show in
the reason why
in
here's
2
what I
years.
decided.
In 2 years. Well, 1 year.
I know.
1 year for Derek, for me.
That wasn't habitual. I did that on purpose because I like the rhyme. I want to bring back the rhyme.
You should just keep doing it.
5 at 5-ish, but then I'll just correct myself. So
it's probably 5 in a different country.
You heard
somewhere.
It on this episode first. I'm going to say that. That's my new intro. Welcome to the show, everybody. 10 out of 10 intro. Thank you.
His name's Eric.
Eric.
It's my boy.
Boy, what a show. I'm so excited about this show today. I'm excited about all of the things because we're hopefully, I'm knocking on wood as I'm saying, but hopefully no connectivity issues because it sounds like we've all gotten on par with the internet.
We're all caught up to 2020.
We're all caught up to 2020. Very exciting.
It's kind of forced us to be that way, though, right? Like, we're all at home so much now. If you don't have, like, reliable internet, you can't live life.
Exactly. And we have so many things going on. There's the Major League Baseball World Series going on.
Right now.
Is college football is back. The Big Ten is gonna play.
Starting tomorrow.
The best tackle of the NFL happened last night where Daniel Jones tackled Daniel Jones.
We should pull that up.
Okay,
I don't know if we're allowed to show it.
Yeah, I don't know. That's iffy. Anyway, hilarious. By the way, Zach, did you go watch it?
No, I'll watch it in the background while you guys can tell me about it, actually. I just want your explanations.
So he takes off. He's in a shotgun. He takes off. He runs 80 yards. He gets down about the 8-yard line and trips on his own feet and just falls. The dude's booking it, though. Apparently, he was running like 22, 21 miles an hour. Pretty insane. Like, the guy was hauling ass. And there's been a lot of, like, professionals, like, talk about how, like, this happens a lot, actually. When you're, like, running in a straight line like that, like, you tend – sometimes that happens. Like, your momentum, like,
it's the inertia, right? You're just like, oh, no.
Yeah. So he tripped. He tripped and he fell. The best part about it is the camera work. It shows all of his teammates, and they're all like, they're not just like smiling. There's like some big like belly laughs happening on the sidelines. It's the best thing I've ever seen. It's the best. The tweets that happen from it are hilarious. I think Pat Mahomes basically said like, he's basically like, I can't say anything. I can't even run that far. Like, you know, like a lot of guys were like, I think I can't remember who it was, said like, hey man, pick your feet up. You know, some of the tweets were hilarious. It was a really funny moment. It didn't affect the outcome of the game because that happened so early in the game. Man, the Giants
in the third quarter.
Yeah. But I mean, it was still, that was when it was still like,
but it was like right at the start of the third quarter.
Yeah. But it was still like, it was the beginning of anybody's scoring. And they actually ended up scoring on that drive.
They did. Yeah. Cause it was like what? It was 10 to 7. And then they scored. And then it was 10 to 14. Yeah.
You know, it's hard to not hear comparisons to Eli Manning, obviously. And
yeah,
he does a lot of things like Eli Manning. He even has some of the same like facial gestures and stuff, which is interesting. But this is something that's different, is that Eli Manning's not running for 80 yards.
Oh no, God no. Eli Manning wouldn't even have tried to run.
Right. So pretty interesting. I still think Daniel Jones has a future in the NFL. I don't know if it's with the Giants. Just like I don't know if Sam Darnold has a future with the Jets. It's not the Jets. I think Sam Darnold has a future. I keep hearing more and more about this, you guys. I keep hearing more. Dan Patrick's on board, preaching it every day. Sam Darnold to the Steelers. Keep saying it.
I would like that.
He keeps bringing it up every single day. It honestly, other than salary cap stuff, because the Steelers are always in trouble in salary cap. Other than that, though, it's a great fit. It's a great fit. He would get the team in 2 or 3 years.
Maybe less.
Maybe less. He's not Mason Rudolph.
Well, so we know why from what we've seen in interviews so far this year, we know why Ben came back, and it was to make a point, right? Like he said, like he wanted to like beat the injury, right? Like he didn't want the injury to end his career.
Right.
If he has one outstanding year, they continue on the pace that they're on right now, where they could possibly win the AFC or go further. Why come back for another year after that unless you just really think you can do it again?
And I think if Ben gets if the Steeler God is out there and makes it happen, if they get to the Super Bowl and they win the Super Bowl, I think Ben retires. I think if they get to the Super Bowl and lost the Super Bowl, Ben might retire.
Well, that might take a lot out of him.
I think if they make the playoffs, he might retire.
But this is something not mentioned on the DP show. This is something not mentioned on the internets. But it's something that I brought up last year when Ben was hurt. And a good look for Ben was him on the sidelines with that headset on. And
yeah, true.
I think there's a realm in which if they picked up Sam Darnold to be the future of that franchise, there could be a chance that they keep him on as a quarterback's coach or even an offensive coordinator eventually. And we could see Ben. Imagine they pick up Sam Darnold right now where he can actually be mentored by Ben and have Ben want it this time. He wants it this time. So it's not Mason Rudolph. It's not it's invited. Then Ben transitions to that like quarterback's coach, eventual offensive coordinator, and he's been working with Sam Darnold. The Steelers could be sitting in a really nice spot. I see why the conversations are happening about it. I get it. It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, he's gonna go somewhere. I don't know if he'll go to Pittsburgh, but he's gonna go somewhere. Depending on how bad the Giants end up finishing, which is not looking good. It's not looking good. If they finish top 2, right? A lot of us think it's gonna go 1-2 Lawrence, Fields, or Lawrence and another quarterback because the North Dakota State guy's coming as well. But it's going to go 2 quarterbacks. So if you have the second pick in the draft and you're the Giants, I think what we've established now in the NFL happened with Josh Rosen. I think that was the beginning because we've never seen a first-round pick get moved on so fast. Like historically, it's never happened. I think that's like the new normal because people love rookie contracts, right? Best way to win a Super Bowl is to go get an old guy who still wants to do it and will sign for less like Tom, or a young guy on a rookie deal. I mean, that's how the Seahawks did it with Russell Wilson. That's how the Rams almost did it with Jared Goff. Then they pay these guys and they don't win shit. So why keep Daniel Jones for 2 more years, have to pay him a bunch of money when instead you could just move right along from him? But I don't know what the Giants are going to do. The Giants might just blow the whole thing up and also get rid of Saquon. They might bring them all back and make more moves. But some people even think they're moving on from Saquon. Sean, before I move on to the Jets, I know you got something.
Real quick, I want to make one more little point on it, though.
Oh, I'm going to move over to Darnold in just a second. I was just getting my Daniel Jones point in real quick.
I want to make one more Pittsburgh argument.
Give me the Pittsburgh argument before I make.
The other thing is for trading pieces. If they have to trade for Darnold, Pittsburgh this year especially. I mean, they have in years past. All of their stars, other than Ben, are not first rounders. They just picked up Chase Claypool, man. He's the next big thing. In fact, Chase Claypool is so good that actually Juju's actually going to start getting better again because they're going to start doing double coverage on Chase Claypool, and then Juju's going to be open again.
Well, so
Juju's
a slot wide receiver. He needs an outside receiver. That's how slot receivers work. But
so that said, though, the Steelers don't need any first-round picks that they have. They don't need them. That's some of your bargaining chips right there to get Sam.
Well, and Sam's stock seems to be dropping.
Yeah,
with the Jets stock, right? Like as the Jets keep losing games, the Jets are going to get less and less for him, and they're such a poorly run franchise. They'd probably trade him for a late first rounder. They might even trade him for a couple of second rounders and the year after's first rounder. Like there's ways to get it done, whether you're the Steelers or whether you're the Colts. I think by this time next year, we could have Daniel Jones as a Colt and Sam Darnold as a Steeler or on some other teams. But you know what I mean? Like people are moving on from quarterbacks that fast. And or even vice versa. And I don't think that either of them is necessarily a proven scrub yet. I don't think like Josh Rosen, people gave up on him quick, and I understand it. The new like NFL quarterbacks are more athletic. And we're even seeing it from Daniel Jones, who I thought was Eli Manning 2.0. But apparently Eli Manning 2.0 is like 2.0 because of those Danny Dimes got the wheels too.
Oh,
he can put her around a little bit.
He's so lanky. Every step is just.
He's just covering ground.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like
I think he's like 6'6", 6'5", somewhere up there. So he's a lanky
boy. You watch tall people try to move. They're back.
So if he's 6'6", actually, he might fit more into the Steeler realm, realistically. Because they like tall guys. That's why they got Mason Rudolph. He's trash, but he's tall.
Yeah, I mean, and Ben will put some cheeseburgers in him, beef him up a little bit.
Yeah, that's what he needs.
Get him on that Roethlisberger grass-fed beef diet. He likes that grass-fed beef.
A lot less beer these days, though.
Yeah, he looked good. He looked good when the season started. Not that he doesn't still look good. Just beginning of the year, he was showing off on the internet a little bit.
So that's my Sam Darnold to Pittsburgh rant I wanted to talk about. That was it.
We had to get it in. We're also approaching the trade deadline pretty soon, and moves are happening.
I feel like it would happen at the end, but I don't know. I mean, it's Flacco's starting this weekend, right? Is that?
Yeah, and we can talk about that when we get to the Jets pick and the Pickem.
Yeah, we'll say
we have a few quarterback things to talk about. I didn't put it in the chat, but there's a few things to talk about. But
I think before we get to the Pickem, though, we can talk about other moves that have happened this week because there was a big one today, and I believe I didn't get the scoop from the internet. I got it from Shawnee Boy here. Yeah. Got me before Twitter got me or ESPN got me.
Well, the talk all day yesterday and today, up until the move. The talk all day yesterday and today, up until the move, was that Antonio Brown was going to be a Seattle Seahawk. It was all but decided. In fact, a lot of people and places were reporting that Antonio Brown was going to be a Seahawk.
Well, they even showed, I heard this morning, so not yesterday, not the day before, today, heard the Russell Wilson interview where he talks about how he clearly is ready to play some football. Essentially, like, I wouldn't say begging his team to make a move, but you don't say that in the media unless you either think it's going to happen or you really want it to happen. So Russell Wilson's saying it. I think we all kind of believed it. I said I didn't believe him going to any team, even if I saw him out on the field, and I still necessarily don't.
And I still stand by that.
I also don't know whatever team he goes to. I don't know if he lasts past a week. I don't know what state he's in.
I think
mentally.
I think it's a full season in this time.
I think maybe because of the drama, the sex scandal or whatever that was. And then he ended up going to court. What was that thing he went to court for? And I can't even remember last year.
Was it the massage therapist thing, or that was the sex scandal?
That's not why he went to jail. He didn't he get in like a battery dispute? Didn't he like try to?
I think so.
He got a domestic violence thing. Yeah, he's a great dude.
Yeah, and
he's also got like CTE. Also, like he's also like.
But you know who doesn't give a shit about that? Tampa Tom, man. He didn't care before. He didn't care with New England. If it was up to him, New England probably would have never got rid of him.
His first
and they would have won the Super Bowl that year.
They could have.
His first game with New England, he scored a touchdown. I mean, it looked like it was scary.
Good.
It was. I remember doing the show. Sean, you were here. You've always been here.
Yep.
We all three thought how scary it was that he was with the Patriots. Like, oh my God, here it goes. Like this. Another Super Bowl, number 7.
And Godwin's been banged up all year. Mike Evans has been hurt but playing all year. But here's the deal. Those guys are both outside boys anyways. And we all know Tom usually likes that tiny little white receiver on all of his teams. But you know what happens when you replace him with Antonio Brown? Goddamn magic. This is going to be insane if he plays. It's going to be insane. They have weapons everywhere. Gronk's getting his legs back under him. He finally showed up last week. I've been saying it for 3 weeks because 3 weeks ago I noticed when he was blocking that he just looks strong. And then the week after he looked fast, but he dropped a couple passes. And then last week he put it all together. So needless to say, I made a Gronk move in fantasy because I'm on my Mark Andrews bye week, man.
I drafted Gronk and I don't have him now, and I'm a little.
You gotta hold. Yeah, you always gotta hold on to Gronk as just like a little backup boy.
I dropped his ass like a bag of potatoes.
You gotta know when to hold him.
To be fair, I have Noah Fant as my backup to Mark Andrews in both of those leagues, but Noah Fant's been hurt, and I didn't know if he was going to be that healthy this week. But I think he is. So I'm going to play Noah Fant over Gronk for sure. And that's my lock of the week. And that's my fantasy pick of the week. And that's a Zach Swan fantasy guarantee.
And now I got to bench Emmanuel Sanders.
Maybe. So I wouldn't be surprised because he didn't practice again. If Michael Thomas did you dirty again. We've been seeing it all year. All of a sudden, he goes from 0 projection to 17, 18 points in PPR, and you're like, he's going to play. And then Saturday, he goes back to 0, and you have to figure it out again.
It's saying COVID-19 now.
For who?
Shit.
For Emmanuel Sanders.
Oh, well then, yeah. But I would still keep him because Michael Thomas is going to be questionable for the rest of the year.
But I got to bench him, though.
Well, we'll figure that out. We'll figure that out for you.
The hard one that I have, because you brought it up earlier, so we might as well do a quickie fantasy segment, just a quickie, and then we can circle back to some other stuff.
Before you do fantasy, where do you think? I wanted to hear your take. Where do you think Sam can go? Where do you think he could go instead?
No, I agreed with you.
Oh, okay.
I agreed with you. I was going to say exactly what you already said, which is one to the Colts, one to the Steelers, or vice versa. And the vice versa was where I was getting at, because I wouldn't be surprised, like other people, I wouldn't be surprised if Sam Darnold was a Colt. But if there's one thing we learned from this AB thing is you never really know where someone's going because the media just likes to make stories. Yeah. And then ultimately everyone goes to Tampa.
Well, I mean, remember the whole conversation of the Steelers thing. The little nugget I gleaned onto for the Steelers thing, even in the first place, was because of Juju Smith-Schuster, who had basically said, like, because he played with Sam Darnold, so he said, "Man, I'd love to see him be here. I'd love to see him be here. I think it'd be awesome. Like, that kind of stuff. Like, so that was like the little nugget I think that was out there in the first place, is that Juju Smith-Schuster was like, man, Sam would be a great pick. I think a lot of us Steeler fans were like, okay. Oh, and then of course, and Sean, you know this because you've always been on this show. Mm-hmm. It's never not been that way. Mm-hmm. But remember coming out of college during that draft, remember Swan and Sean, because you were on the show the whole time, I was really high on Darnold in the very first place. I still think Darnold should have been the number 1 draft pick, despite what happened with the Jets. In the very beginning, I said, seriously, so long before, this is one of the things I pat myself in the back regularly about, is that the Browns were going to Browns it and draft Baker Mayfield number 1, and that Sam Darnold should be number 1, but he will not be.
I think everyone thought he would be, though. I thought he would be until like a week or two before the draft. You were like, I think the Browns are going to Brown it and draft Baker. And they did. But we know now that Baker is 4th, because don't forget about Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson. There's no way you can make an argument for Baker Mayfield over any of them besides Sam Darnold, because Baker Mayfield has for sure had a better career so far than Sam, but I don't think any of those 4 would have succeeded in New York. Any of the 4, even Lamar.
And not to kick a dead horse, but in that draft season, I know I've talked about it way too much, but in that draft season, the Browns had the number 1 and the 4 pick. No one wanted Baker Mayfield. They could have taken Saquon Barkley, number 1, waited until their 4th pick, and took Baker Mayfield.
If they really wanted him.
Really wanted him. And if for some reason someone had taken Baker Mayfield, he wouldn't have been taken. If for some reason they still would have had Sam Darnold, Josh Allen, Josh Rosen, Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson went number 30.
But I don't know how many teams, I know this is going to sound like blasphemy, but I don't know how many teams, probably half, it's going to take a coach. I don't know how many teams would have made Lamar Jackson into exactly what he is now, which is already an MVP. He went to Baltimore, which is like the best organization. They always draft well. They clearly had a game plan for him from the get-go. The Browns would not have had a game plan for him from the get-go. No. You know?
That is true.
I think him and Josh Allen won out by dropping as much.
I'm just saying, having that 1 and the 4th pick, man. Take Saquon Barkley, then take your quarterback.
Right, and they took a corner with the 4.
And the corners, he's a great corner. He's going to be a Steeler one day.
He'll be a great Steeler. All other good Browns, he'll be a great Steeler.
Like all other, especially like all other great Browns corners and safeties, he'll be a great Steeler one day.
Well, so kind of a counter argument though, because they drafted Baker and then a corner, they were also able to get Nick Chubb, which was a way better value pick. Saquon Barkley at number 2 or number 3 or number 4, drafting a running back in the top 4 picks is not a great value pick, because every good running back in the league wasn't drafted even in the first round.
And then waiting and buying their time and then picking up Kareem Hunt. God, that team should be so much better.
Right, and Kareem Hunt was a 3rd rounder. So you don't go get Saquon. Saquon doesn't change. Saquon doesn't change their franchise though.
On paper, everything they've done other than Baker Mayfield has been an incredible pickup. Like, the team's there, right? The team is there.
Oh, it's there.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, 2 great wide receivers, 2 great running backs, 2 good tight ends. I don't know how the offensive line is still. Every Browns game I've watched, not great, but the defense is great. But if you're going to draft an undersized quarterback, you can't have a bad offensive line.
It was a shame that I've said this too, because I watched that Hard Knocks too, and Joe Thomas was an amazing offensive lineman. It's a shame he retired one season prior, because maybe, and especially he would have been in that first year where Baker kind of pulled it out at the end there. And Joe Thomas, he was really good. So, all right. Fantasy.
I love Joe.
Me too.
So yeah, I have Claypool in multiple leagues. I was a little bullish on Steeler wide receivers this year, and I am every year because they draft so well. So I had Deontay Johnson in a couple leagues. I have Juju. I have everyone but Washington, actually. And Washington's the one who had the great week last week.
Bastard.
So what you're saying about Claypool opening it up for Juju, it's not just that. Like, a lot of their coaching staff and just in interviews I've heard, Deontay Johnson is the dude. That is the dude they think is the most talented of the bunch. And he just can't stay on the field this year. Even the games that he's made it onto the field, he doesn't finish the game. When he's truly fully healthy, Claypool is playing now. By the way, they play the exact same position. So this weekend, seeing how that pans out is super interesting, which is the fantasy dilemma. But regardless, I think this is the week that Juju goes off because someone's going to be healthy in that spot. And I think it opens up Juju in the slot, just game plan wise. Like, he's the one who's going to get left open. Mm-hmm. But I think they're in a great situation. They have 4 guys now that they can just keep that rotation strong or somehow get them all out on the field at once because Claypool will play anywhere. So
this is not the Steelers show, but I will say it's been 2 pretty rough seasons, and it's finally I don't know that I've had an amazing season since we've started the show, to be honest. Two of the last seasons have not been a playoff contender, have always been over 500 at least. So never a losing season. Didn't make the playoffs the last 2 years. This is finally the year that I feel pretty good about the team. And that's
So yeah, the fantasy dilemma was the Steeler wide receiver situation. But regardless, anyone who has Claypool is going to play Claypool.
Yeah,
he's just been too good. He's had one bad week the whole year now.
Well, so you say that, but because I had him in for Michael Thomas, but then I swapped Claypool out for B. Scott in my flex, which ended up working out.
Yeah,
right.
You're a weekly move guy, huh? See, I'm a set it and forget it guy. Like I stick to what I drafted, besides for the few people that end up being complete duds. But yeah. I mean, if I drafted a guy high, I'm not going to situationally play him.
But here's the thing. I had Thomas in. I was going to play Claypool. But then I also have Crowder. I should probably just play – well, no, because they're – never mind. I wouldn't have played – I'm glad I picked what I did because Claypool's up against Tennessee and Crowder's up against Buffalo. So I think I did the right move.
Yeah, but Tennessee's – it's a misconception that Tennessee has a good secondary.
Yeah, but Claypool made me sad last week. He had 2 touchdowns. He had 2 things that should have been touchdowns last week.
But that just shows how much they're like focusing the offense around him. And if some guy's getting that many touches, especially around the red zone, you have to play him every week. Because they're always not there.
I'm an idiot, but I'm starting so many Steelers this week. I'm starting Juju Smith-Schuster, James Washington, Eric Ebron, and then Chris Boswell. That doesn't really count. That's my kicker.
Yeah, but you got to get one of those guys out. I feel like maybe not, but probably.
Let me tell you who I have. I'm starting. So I'll keep Juju no matter what, because I'm going down with the sinking ship. Let me tell you who my other option is. I love this has kind of become somewhat of a. You guys can help me win. I won my first game, by the way. But not only did I win my first game, I destroyed. It was so ugly.
Yeah, I know you sent us the score.
To like 70 something. It was nasty. Last night I had Devonta Freeman play, and he fucked me raw.
Oh
yeah.
Yeah.
You can't play a giant no matter what.
Well,
I'll be dropping him.
Oh, he got hurt. He got hurt in the game, right? His foot.
So I can play. So if I was going to drop a wide receiver, it would be James Washington. I thought about putting Cole Beasley in.
No.
I can't play Emmanuel Sanders because COVID. And then I have Corey Davis from Tennessee.
Oh, dude, Corey Davis. This is Corey Davis's year. Corey Davis was supposed to be the guy in Tennessee when he was drafted out of ECU, and he has not performed. But then this year, coming out of the gate, he kind of took the show from AJ Brown. Like, he took the number one receiver option, and then he got COVID, I believe.
Okay.
So then AJ Brown came back out of nowhere and kind of became the touchdown machine that we thought he would be. That being said, if you were in a PPR league and not a standard league, I am incredibly bullish on my home dude, the white rapper, Cole Beasley. I made moves on Cole this week because I've just been looking at his numbers progressing in PPR, and I feel like this is the week where he just hits like a 20+.
And he's playing the fucking Jets.
Exactly. They're not going to exploit the Jets deep a lot. They're going to run the football. Josh Allen's going to run the football, and they're going to use their slot wide receiver a bunch.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're getting touchdowns out of that, but if you're a PPR guy, I think that's like a 5 and 100 type of day.
Okay, so I have one more question for you then. For running backs, because I had Devonta Freeman, and I'll be dropping him. My second one I was starting is Rex Burkhead, but
Ooh.
I also have Brian Hill and Duke Johnson.
Who's Houston playing?
Green Bay.
I mean, I think that I would go with that over Rex, especially with Cam Newton back and James White back. I would just drop him if I were you.
So go with Duke Johnson?
I mean, I would. But who was the other person?
Brian Hill, and they're playing Detroit.
Yeah. So.
Oh, that's the Atlanta boy, right?
Yeah, he came over from Cincinnati, and he is a speedster. He's good for 2 or 3 boom plays a game, but if they don't get you a touchdown, then he's garbage because it's just those 2 or 3 boom plays, which might only be 30 to 50 yards. But with the options that you have, maybe that's the move. Picking the backup running back for the Atlanta Falcons, though, is a terrifying concept to me.
I'm gonna go with Duke Johnson then.
I would go with Duke, because Duke. Yeah, I mean I know David Johnson's there, and at least when you're watching it, you might think the Johnson that is your Johnson, even if he's not.
I think that every Johnson's my Johnson.
So, Zach, what do you think? Brian Hill or Duke Johnson?
That's rough, man. That's rough.
I think Duke.
I'm gonna go.
Because they're playing Detroit.
I'm gonna go with Duke. So that's why I thought about going with Brian Hill because they're playing Detroit.
Brian Hill might not get you a lot of yards, but he might get you a touchdown. It's just the problem is when any team with Todd Gurley is in the red zone, they swap out whoever got him there.
Hold on.
Whoever drove the whole field, they swap him out and they let Gurley get the touchdown. That's just Todd Gurley teams.
Go to the waiver. Go see who the running backs are right now. Let's do this. First time. Let's do it. Go look at the running backs that are available right now.
I'm going right now.
Yeah, because there's no way they're Devonta Freeman bad. There's no way.
You know what sucks is I actually don't think that's a bad call.
The number one on there is Naheem Hines,
who I love.
Malcolm Brown,
who I love, but it depends because they say Henderson might be hurt this week. So then Malcolm Brown all of a sudden becomes a stud.
The Rams, right?
Yeah, so that might be a good last-second pickup. I would wait and see how things develop Sunday morning because we've learned in LA. I almost said St. Louis. That should be some sort of penalty. We learned in LA. We learned in LA. Definitely not St. Louis. We learned in LA that Akers is not the guy. They keep acting like this rookie Akers is going to be the guy. I fell for it. I drafted him in a league or two. But it's either Malcolm Brown or Henderson for sure. And that's the problem in LA is that you can't tell on a week-to-week basis who the guy is. But if Henderson's hurt, who was their rookie draft pick last year? He was like what they were saying about Akers this year. That's what they were saying about him last year. So that's who I have in fantasy, and he's had a couple like 20-point games, like 2 specifically.
Okay, so who else?
J.K. Dobbins, but they're in a bye.
You don't want the Dobb, man.
Jamal Williams.
See, that's not bad. I would say that would be more.
And they're playing Houston.
Green Bay.
Yeah.
That could be the one. I know Aaron Jones, but I don't know.
Why don't you let the fans decide?
No, don't do that. Don't listen to these people.
You decide. That's what this show is now.
Okay. So I think keep your eye out. I think if what he said, if what's his name from the Rams doesn't play, you should start Brown.
Okay.
I agree. I would pick up Malcolm Brown last second if that was me.
Yeah.
So like Sunday morning, keep an eye on like what they're going to be doing for the game.
So I don't know what you guys do, but what I do every Sunday morning is I get up at about 7:15 because I can't sleep because I'm so excited for football, and I hop on and I start doing fantasy, and it usually fucks me.
Yeah,
Sometimes.
the biggest mistake you can ever make in fantasy, Derek, is to wake up early on Sunday to fuck with your team. It is the number one downfall of anyone. Let me tell you a little story. Let me take you back 6, 7 years. 7 years. I don't even know what. Yeah, that probably was. I think that was 7 years ago. Hard to say.
2013.
Who's to say time doesn't work normal anymore? But 7 years ago-ish, my first year in fantasy, I ran the motherfucking gauntlet, Derek. The gauntlet. I went 12-0 regular season, won my first 2 rounds of the playoffs, and then I had a twofer. A twofer. I don't know why you make the finals 2 weeks, but they made the finals 2 weeks. I won the first week by 30 damn points. All I had to do was ignore my team from that point on. I'm up 30, right? If he outscores me by 29 the next week, I still win. I was playing Dean America. Not a fan of the show. Because, anytime we say anyone else's name, we say huge fan of the show. I wake up. I substitute my defense. I substitute my kicker. I substitute both of my flexes. And I lose by 50 points.
But if you would have kept all that other stuff in, you would have won?
I would have won. I switched a kicker out who would have gotten 14 points for a kicker out who got 1 point, 1 extra point.
Who switched the kicker?
Graham. Remember Graham from the Bengals?
Yeah.
He had been. Oh, he's the kicker I put in.
Yeah.
I had Matt Bryant from the Falcons. So that year, back to Derek's riding the Steelers out. That year, I had Tony Gonzalez, tight end for the Falcons. I had Julio Jones, wide receiver from the Falcons. I had Roddy White, and then I had Jackson. Remember the year that Jackson came over from the Rams and played running back for the Falcons? I had all of them. So I had Steven Jackson as well. And that team went undefeated in fantasy. Like basically just the Atlanta Falcons team. Yeah. With Matt Bryant, their kicker, as my kicker. And then I took them all out because I didn't trust my own team in real life. And I lost like a disastrous week.
How's it taste?
How does what taste?
I don't know, man.
Defeat?
I'm like having cold sweats about all the moves I've made. So you're right. I'm fucking up this year because I've never kind of tried to make these sleeper fucking moves that I'm trying to make this year. I've never done this. And
you're outsmarting yourself. And when you outsmart yourself in anything, fantasy, Pickem, life. You knew where I was going with it.
Yeah.
When you try to outsmart yourself, life outsmarts you, bud.
That's why this week I had a terrible week on Pickem last week.
Did you wake up early and change your picks on Sunday? Because that's when
I did, yeah. And this week I made my picks on Monday, and I'm keeping them. Or Tuesday. I made them Tuesday. Oh, hey, by the way, so I have one more before we move on. Before we move on to this next thing, I want to ask you guys. For my tight end, I have Eric Ebron or Greg
No.
Olsen.
Hold on.
Are there other options besides for those two?
Yeah,
We're
who's
gonna change your
available?
whole team.
Who's available?
I'd play Olsen, by the way. Just
Yeah,
if you
they're
said there was
playing-
no other options.
They're playing the Cardinals. I think you're going to maybe get a touchdown over Ebron against the Titans. But who's available?
I'll look.
Say it slowly.
I'll look.
Slower. Say it slower.
The Titans play great again. I think they're like a top 10 when it comes to covering tight ends. So
According to Yahoo, it says that Arizona has given up the 10th fewest yards to a tight end.
what? And the Titans are 12th.
Well, that's crazy though, because when the Niners played them, was that game 1? I believe Kittle got a touchdown, and I believe Jordan Reed got a touchdown.
Maybe that was just the bad game that they had. Maybe they had a bunch of other. They get picked apart on the outside, so that's probably why tight ends don't eat against them.
Anthony Ferkser,
Oh.
Keep going.
OJ Howard.
See, OJ Howard's hurt though.
Yeah, he is. Hold on.
If you're playing how I play fantasy now, because I went to a bachelor party a few weeks ago, and we started picking each other's brains a little bit about strategy. You always got to be 2 to 3 weeks ahead, and if you're 2 to 3 weeks ahead, you know that OJ Howard's gonna come back and take over the Tampa Bay job, which he had before he went hurt. He's better than Brate. He's better than Gronk. He's one of the most physically gifted tight ends in the league. When he's back, Tampa Tom loves that dude. So if you're thinking about future you play Olsen this week, and you pick up OJ Howard for your future dude.
You definitely drop Ebron, man. Fuck that guy.
Because I mean,
Ebron's been pretty decent for the Steelers, though.
Yeah, he has. I'm just mad because the 1 week I tried to play him, he fucked me.
Tyler Kroft or Drew Sample?
none of those people compared to who you have.
Yeah, I think you're in a 12-man league, right?
14.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's why it's so scarce. Like when he was reading the list, I'm like, man, that's trash.
Yeah.
And that makes sense.
That's
tough sledding.
I'll play Greg Olsen.
That's what I would do. And I would always say the number one way to solidify that in your head is you can't play that many Steelers because they all can't, unless you think your team's going to score 63 points.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Now, that being said, what happens when none of your receivers get any touchdowns and it turns out that Eric Ebron gets 3?
And you know what's going to happen? You're going to bench him, and that's what's going to happen. So you bench Ebron, I'll go pick him up, and I'll go put him in. You'll get 0 points, and I'll get a shit ton.
Okay, I'm playing Ebron.
Don't listen to me, dude. So here's the
That's who I had in there first. That's how I'm leaving there. I don't care.
Every game that I've played Julio this year, he's done shitty. Every game.
Well, that's not your fault. I think.
Don't you fucking bring your fucking bullshit into this.
No, I'm blaming the fantasy app for this because every single week with Julio, they make you believe that he's going to play the full game. So you play him because the projection never goes to 0, right? Like it always projects 10 plus points for him. So you play him, and then he ends up only playing a quarter of the game.
Because he gets hurt.
Because he's still hurt, and he doesn't ever take time off. He's been questionable for 7 years. If you go to the fantasy report every single week, he's always questionable. But this year, I wonder why he actually sat out some time until Quinn was fired. I wonder why.
By the way, before I ask my no, I don't have any more fantasy questions, but I have 2 things I want to ask. Firstly, what do you guys feel about Fitzmagic being benched for Tua?
His interview made me sad.
Yeah, the interview made me sad too, even though it's happened to him at literally every team he's been to. It's kind of weird, but whatever.
It's kind of weird that all of a sudden he's sad, but I get it. It's because in his head, this was his final year. And maybe he was like delusional and thought that he would get the full season.
Maybe, yeah.
I mean, he's a Harvard dude. He's a pretty smart guy. There's no way he really thought that was going to happen.
Okay, hold on. Pump those brakes.
It doesn't have to be his final season, though. He could be the next Josh McCown and play 4 more seasons.
But I think in his head he thought it was. Go ahead, Sean. Sorry.
Well, I just think that you let him play till he loses. Why would you not do that? They do that with all, Tyrod Taylor.
I think the game plan was to always make it to the bye week and then bench him.
I just don't know why you would do that when someone's playing so good.
Right. And with the extra team being added to the playoff picture, 7 teams on each side, the Dolphins have a legit shot. Like, they're in right now, I believe. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. They're in the playoff hunt.
Yeah.
So then that begs the question of, do they want to be a playoff team?
Yes.
Or, like, does the organization want to make the playoffs, or they want to have one more bad year of draft picks? Or
I think Brian Flores wants them to be a playoff team.
Me too. And
I think Brian Flores is actually a great coach. I think he's a little worried about losing his job, which is too bad because I think Brian Flores could be a great coach.
I don't think he'll lose his job. But I do agree with you that I don't think he should lose his job. He could lose his job.
No. Yeah.
I think, and this is me being hopeful, that they believe that they have been winning not just because of Fitzpatrick, that they have a pretty good football team and they can afford to put Tua in the mix. A lot of times, bad football teams get high draft picks and then they throw that rookie quarterback out there with a garbage offensive line and no weapons. But Tua's going to have weapons. He's got a couple good wide receivers. He's got a good tight end. He's got a couple good running backs. And the line's been protecting Fitzy.
That said, I'm looking forward to seeing Tua play.
Me too, but
if he see that hip get blown out again,
if he even thinks that he can take the rookie of the year from homeboy Herbert, he's nuts.
No, he is. Absolutely.
If Joe Burrow, who's going to get an extra game over Herbert, thinks he's getting rookie of the year over my
how's he
homeboy,
getting an extra game?
Because Herbert didn't start till week 2. Tyrod, so people already forget that the only win the Chargers have happened in week 1 against the Bengals when Tyrod Taylor beat the Bengals by playing super safe, protect the football, run the football, play defense. The way Tyrod Taylor has always won games. And then they switched to like a high-octane Justin Herbert offense, and they've lost every game since. But they've had a pretty good schedule.
You say that, and this has come up in conversation before, but though just how you describe Tyrod Taylor makes me think I would love to have him as a backup in Pittsburgh.
I mean,
is that not just the description you said?
Why does everybody have to go to fucking Pittsburgh?
Is that not Ben Roethlisberger? Because to me, Ben is just he's just a get it done quarterback. Like,
listen,
flashy.
The dick of Pittsburgh.
Derek, you're already at 2 Steeler segments. And we still have to do Pick'em. That's going to be 3 Steeler segments. Maybe if you want to sneak it in, then maybe if you want to say I picked the Steelers to beat the Titans, and by the way, Tyrod Taylor would be great next year. Sneak it in then. But we can't do 4 Steeler segments in one show.
Just three. Okay.
Your limit's 3, bud. I'm keeping track.
All right.
Your limit should be. Not everybody should be a Steeler. Not everybody is a Steeler.
I'm sorry, all right?
You know what? Maybe you can have as many as you want, but the new stipulation is you have that bottle behind you, and every time that you say someone should be a Steeler, you have to take a shot. So if you want to say everyone should be a Steeler, then that's fine. But that's a lot of shots, bud, because everyone's a lot of alcohol.
Everybody is a lot of alcohol. Also,
I don't even know how much alcohol is everyone.
What did you say? What did you say about Le'Veon Bell when he went to the Chiefs?
I said I would welcome him back home with open arms.
I know you did.
So
I thought it would be a good fit.
It would have made sense.
And Sean, you're right. I know, and I also know that Sam Darnold would be Sam Darnold's still on his rookie contract. I don't know how that works out, but they can still get him on the cheap. But all right, so that was my one question. My number two question. I heard this posed this week. I want to know what you thought, Zach, specifically. Actually, no, both of you. Actually, both of you are involved in this. Sorry, Sean.
I don't feel too bad about it.
This week, Dan Patrick, my dad, he put out his pick for where Matt Ryan should go. He felt that Matt Ryan should go to San Francisco.
San Francisco.
What do you both of you feel about that?
Well, if San Francisco had Matt Ryan last year, they would be the defending Super Bowl champion San Francisco 49ers.
Are you sure?
No, because no, not at all. Because that throw that Jimmy Garoppolo missed in that game is exactly the throw that I see Matt Ryan miss on a weekly basis.
No. Hold on. Didn't miss. Old man Sanders couldn't keep up.
Okay.
If that would have been Debo, if that would have been fucking Dante Pettis, anybody younger, they would have got it.
True. But Matt Ryan would have outthrown those guys. He would have outthrown Goodwin, who's a 100-meter dash champion. One of the best 100-meter dashers in the history of the University of Texas.
I don't know. Yeah, he overthrew it by a little bit.
But if the question is simply, who's a better quarterback? Jimmy Garoppolo or former MVP
John Cena,
or former MVP guy who's going to finish top 5 in every quarterback stat that matters, Matt Ryan, former MVP and top 5 in every stat that matters, Matt Ryan. I'm going to say every stat that matters, Matt Ryan.
Well, yeah, but
I don't think... Is Jimmy Garoppolo 10 years younger than him almost? Yeah. Yes. That makes no sense.
Yeah, I don't see Matt Ryan going to.
Well, I think DP put it together because because of like Shanahan's there.
Can they? Well, okay. So I guess here would be my real question on that question is, I don't know if they can get out of Jimmy's contract by next year. And Matt Ryan's made a ton of money. But for him to go somewhere besides for the Falcons, they are going to have to pay him upwards of $20 million just to cut him. So they probably bring Matt Ryan and Julio back because they can't afford to release either of them. And most teams can't afford to trade for them.
Yeah.
So unless you're talking about a Jimmy Garoppolo for Matt Ryan trade, which sounds improbable, then I don't think it happens.
I just don't see the point. Yeah. Financially, age-wise.
Now,
so I'm sorry. Sean David Marsh has been chiming in the chat. I just want to know because he's a Steeler fan. Sean, what do you feel about Sam Darnold to the Steelers? Just chime in. I'll post it up here. I'm just curious. He's a Steeler guy, so I'm curious on that.
He's a Steeler guy.
I wonder when he chimed in. I wonder if he missed the 14 Steeler segments that have already happened. Sean, we're sorry, bud. We already did our 14 Steeler segments for the day.
I still want to know what he thinks. It's
you know what? You know what? To be honest, I think Matt Ryan, he would look good behind Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah, hey,
Matt Ryan,
Derek, how did you not hijack
don't-
the whole thing and say that maybe Matt Ryan should be a Steeler next year?
See, Sean doesn't like it. I disagree. All right, so from what I've heard from both of you,
That's because most people think that Sam Darnold's dog shit. Me being one of them. So,
yes,
I don't know. I watch him make some good throws and I get excited. Then I watch him be like, I'm Sam Darnold, and then not do
this
anything.
is the question.
if he went to a team with a solid offensive line and some weapons, I think he's a way better quarterback.
Well, how can I guess you can say he doesn't have an offensive line, sure, but he has Crowder, who's a pretty good receiver. You didn't do anything with Le'Veon Bell. Granted,
That's Adam Gase's fault. That's not Sam Darnold's fault.
Yeah.
Gase didn't want to play Le'Veon.
What is why?
But I have a question, and this is for you guys or anyone who wants to comment on the chat or anyone else. Name another top 5 draft pick quarterback who gets cut or traded during their rookie deal and ends up being good. I'm saying name one.
That's true.
Now, I can say name one quarterback whose team gave up on him and he ended up being good because it happened recently with Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah.
But they didn't give up on him that early. He had a good run.
Yeah, he had some really good games and seasons in.
Yeah, it's not like they gave up on him in 3 years.
Yeah.
I want to know like one dude who they gave up on that guy in 3 years and he ended up being good for another team. And I'm not saying it didn't happen. Oh, yeah. No. Sean, not Phillip Rivers, Drew Brees. Drew Brees it happened to. Because Drew Brees was like the 23rd or 30th pick of that draft the year that LaDainian Tomlinson was drafted. So there's one. And they drafted Phillip Rivers, so they got rid of Drew Brees, right?
Yeah, that's what happened.
So then he ended up becoming a champion with the Saints and, one of the 3 best quarterbacks of all times.
Well, Rivers was traded too.
Yeah, but that was during the draft, right? Like Rivers and Manning were swapped because Manning refused to go to San Diego. Like it wasn't like he played football for them.
Yeah.
Right, Sean, I agree with you, but they never played for those teams. They never played for those teams at all.
All right.
Yeah,
yeah. But that did lead me to Drew Brees, which is a good example of that. So maybe you're right. Maybe Sam Darnold is the next Drew Brees.
Yeah, for sure.
So one of the questions I had before we get to the pick'em, one of the questions I had going into the show, this is completely off topic because this is baseball, but the Rays are playing the Dodgers, and there's basically no story, right? Like there's nothing they can put together from this. So does anybody care? Like the NLCS and the ALCS had higher ratings than the World Series have had so far. Does anybody care other than Dodgers?
Here's the deal. The Dodgers make it there again, and they're not playing a bunch of cheaters.
But that would have been a bigger story, though. Like what Derek's saying, that would have been a bigger story.
And the Astros didn't make it because they couldn't fucking cheat.
No, but what I'm saying is if you're not a fan, if you're not a diehard of either of these teams, does anybody care if there's like for the layman who's like, because that's it's the middle grounders.
You mean the casual?
Yeah, the casual fan. Does the casual fan have anything to even care about these games other than seeing Mookie Betts steal 2 bases and giving some Doritos Tacos Locos to
he didn't just steal 2 bases. He stole 2 bases and then he ran it in for a run.
He's stolen half of America's heart.
I'm
well.
not saying that it's not been an interesting World Series. I'm just saying for the casual fan,
I don't get. Here's what I gotta say.
right?
Here's what I gotta say to the casual fan: go fuck yourself. And then same thing with fucking basketball, because I keep seeing that bullshit where people are like, "Congrats, LeBron! It was one of the lowest rated fucking NBA championships to ever be watched." Well, you know what? Fuck you.
Well, okay, that's mostly just because LeBron James this year has become even more polarizing than he already was for a multitude of reasons. But back to the baseball question.
No, it's all relevant.
Do I care? If that's what you're asking. I feel like that's what we're getting at here. Do I care that the Rays and the Dodgers are playing each other? I think it's the two best teams. I think it's the two best teams in baseball playing each other. I'm glad that a losing record Astros team, who did also cheat, yeah, you're right, make it. I think it would have been more compelling, though, to watch the Dodgers beat down the Astros, because I think they would have. I think that would have been either a 4-0 or a 4-1 series. But the main reason I don't really care, not just because the Braves lost, and I think that was the best series of the playoffs, the Braves-Dodgers series. It was 7 games. Besides for one game, they were all pretty fun to watch. I don't think the Rays have enough offense to, on a night in, night out basis, compete with the Dodgers. They can win a game by 2 or 3 runs, right? But they're not going to do what they did in game 2 more than once or twice. Like, at best, that's a 4-2 series. At best.
We know, Sean.
We know.
We knew what you were doing.
When's the last time the Rays were in the World Series?
I don't know the year, but I just watched when they had Joe Madden as their general manager. They had some, with Longoria, they had some pretty good teams.
Yeah, but like,
but I don't think that it's, if you're trying to make the underdog point, I don't think it works.
The underdog point. I'm making it's exciting to see a team in like, it was cool to see Miami because they haven't been there in a minute. It was cool to see. It's cool to see the Rays because they haven't been there in a minute. It's like when the Super Bowl comes around, if it's not the Niners, I want to see a team that hasn't been there. That's why when the Eagles were there, I was excited. The Rams, I was excited.
I mean, last year during the playoffs, I definitely was like, when the Titans were doing really good, I'm like, well, let's see the Titans.
Cool.
Well, and I think the Nationals last year in baseball had a lot of people captivated as well. Yeah. But I do think baseball, the World Series with packed crowds, is really crazy fun to watch. It's missing a little something. Having these in-between crowds makes it even weirder, if you ask me. Having these like couple thousand people crowds in a 80,000 plus stadium is even weirder for me. It makes it it almost makes it feel like a preseason game as far as like the way the crowd's set up. But I can't give an honest answer to that question, Derek, because I'm a Braves fan and I couldn't watch the first 2 games just out of pure spite and hatred for mostly myself.
Yeah.
So I'm going to probably watch the rest of it.
Yeah.
But you're only going to have 2 more games to watch. So
yeah,
who won today?
It's still going right now.
Well, the Dodgers are going. It's the 9th. It's 6-1. I think most of the games are going to be this way.
I think if Muncie knocks it out of the park right now, night's over.
Night's over.
Oh, God damn it.
Can we make some picks already?
Yeah.
I'm itching like a hound to make some picks.
I hate how that just went down, but I love everything about it also. So
I didn't hate a single thing about it.
I know you didn't. Okay.
I think we all assumed you liked it.
Well, I think I really nailed my accent.
But to be fair, I'm ready for some pick'em because I got to show up you casuals real quick.
Casuals, I'm beating both of you.
Yeah, that was 6 weeks of beginner's luck.
The only person beating me is in the chat right now.
Well, yeah, and Sean better be calling you a fucking casual.
No, fuck that. I had a bad fuck off. That's all I gotta say. Not to Sean, to you. Dude,
I'm back, baby.
I've gone back and looked at this fucking week 6 like 5 times this week.
I should probably at least open my pick'em because I do not remember. Why is Kawhi there?
What?
Stop it.
Never stop. We're not tied. You're winning, Sean, right?
All right.
No, because your week last week got dropped, Sean. So I think you're still in it.
I'm making a soundboard, baby. All right.
Okay. All right. So let's start with. Hey, I'll run the show tonight. Let's go, boys.
No.
No. Oh wait, no, you run the show. I got scared actually. Why did I say that? I don't want to even do it. You go ahead, Derek.
My favorite thing. It's my favorite thing to do.
I know, and I don't know why, because I just want to. Okay, so but we're gonna talk about Thursday night's game, like who we picked, right? Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, everyone picked the Eagles. Next.
Well, not every. Well, I know all 3 of us did.
There's nothing to talk about. There was kind of a game that happened last night. Let's move on.
Here's the thing, though, is I feel like you really wanted to pick Daniel Jones. I feel like at some point you're like Danny Dimes, because you said
I don't give a shit about Danny Dimes.
You say it. You tell. We'll see next week. We'll see what happens next week.
I haven't picked the Giants since week 2.
All right.
When me and Derek both picked them, and we learned our goddamn lesson.
Yeah, we all picked the Eagles. Okay.
All right, so number 1.
We're becoming one of those shows that just have memes and soundboards.
I'm working on it. Don't worry. All right, New York Giants at the Philadelphia Eagles. I went with the Eagles on this one, but I was real scared for a little bit there.
I
ended up pulling it out. Boy, that run by Daniel Jones. Look, man, we can make fun of him all you want. I can't run 80 fucking yards. I would have collapsed 20 in. So, that said, I did pick the Eagles, and thank God.
That's why I haven't gone back and watched the replay of it, because I think I would be tired just looking at 80 yards.
I mean, look at the bottom of our screen. I'm tired looking at that. That's about 80 yards, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm tired.
Yeah. That's a lot. Okay. So, we all picked the Eagles on that one.
Yep.
All right, so let's get the real deal here. First thing Sunday morning, the Detroit Lions are at the Atlanta Falcons in Atlanta. You know, man, Atlanta played such a good game against the Vikings, and the Lions are 2-3. Honestly, this is probably my tougher one to choose. I ultimately went with my gut, and my gut says don't take Atlanta. And I am taking the Lions because my gut just says don't do it. I don't care that they won a game. I think they have some momentum, and as our fans know, and as Sean always knows because he's always been here, and Zach knows because he's always been here, I like to go with the gut, and it says don't take the Falcons. So they hurt me too much last year. I'm taking the Lions.
You want me to do this one?
I'll go, and then you can go last.
Yeah, you can. I'll go second on all the other ones, but I want to go last on this one.
Okay. I didn't do what you're doing, Derek. I'm going with the Falcons. I think Dan Quinn was the issue, and that other fuckhole, the GM, who's a cunt, apparently.
Tom Dimitrov.
I don't even know his name.
Thomas Dimitrov is a mountain bike riding piece of shit.
Yeah, fuck that guy. I'm going with the Falcons. Fuck it, dude.
I've just always wanted to say a mountain bike riding piece of shit.
You've been saving it. I could tell. I could taste it.
I've been saving it since Hard Knocks,
Falcons.
which was a long time ago.
I think Falcons do so good in the last like 5 minutes of the game. Matt Ryan doesn't even see the field. They go out there, but Matt Ryan doesn't.
Yeah. They send Matt Schaub out there instead.
That's pretty bold.
Honestly, if Matt Schaub played 400 yards, 5 touchdowns, easy win, Falcons. But we're talking about 2 other Matts here. This is the 2 best friends, the 2 Matts, Stafford and Ryan.
They dock each other, right?
Oh, they've docked. They have docked a lot.
Because one of those dudes is uncircumcised for sure.
My money's on Stafford.
Oh yeah, Matt Ryan's cut.
He's got that fireman's helmet, man.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. Anyways. All right.
I'm so sorry if my mom's watching.
Continue.
So he's got this fireman's helmet.
He wears it on the field every Sunday. Continue. Come on. You got a lot of Pickems to get through.
I just shouldn't have said the part about the helmet.
That was my favorite part.
I think like the whole thing's been my favorite part.
I had so many points to make. Let's just move on. Falcons.
Me too.
I had so many points to make next game.
Me too. Oh, I like that. Yeah, me too.
Stop it.
What was your points? Come on, man.
No, let's just go to the next one. I can't talk about it.
I made a soundboard, baby. All right. Oh, I like that. All right. Who did you pick, Zach? Did you take
Falcons?
Okay. Buffalo Bills at the New York Jets. I think the Jets. I'm finally. I've prepared myself mentally, emotionally, sexually to finally say this with some real gusto, I guess.
Yep.
Because I said this before a few seasons ago, and Sean, you were there, and you've always been.
Oh God.
I said a few years ago that the Jets were going to go winless, and it was a dumb thing that I said.
They're going to win now.
I am finally prepared to say that they are actually going to go winless this year. I think the Buffalo Bills are going to go to New York, and they're going to do whatever they want to the Jets. I'm going to take the Bills in this game.
Yeah. Well, you fucked us. You fucked us by saying that. They're immediately going to win a game now. But I took the Bills as well. I don't think there's a lot to talk about in this game. Nobody who's playing Pigskin Pick'em with us or would ever watch this show is taking the Jets. Brian, great bud, great guy, owner of the Wooden Nickel, the official bar of sports program. If he's playing Pick'em, he is not taking the Jets in this game.
Even if you're a Jets fan, you can't.
No. There's no... It says 98% of people on ESPN are picking the Bills. And the only other 2% are picking the Jets because they're big fans of the show and they know Derek just cursed them.
And that happened just now.
Yep. It was probably 100% before.
Yeah, I'm going with the Bills. Nothing even to say about it.
the Bills have lost, 2 in a row now? 2 pretty tough games.
Two big games. I mean, had they had won, would have been awesome. But I don't even think that they can be mad that they lost.
Yeah,
you can be mad, but like, you can't be
And old man Joe Flacco, like, what's he gonna do? Like, the guy can't move around in the pocket. Sam Darnold, the only reason he even stood a chance in there is because he's slightly mobile. They don't have any weapons. They don't have a line. They don't have a coach. I think
Flacco retires at fucking halftime. I think he fucking walks out.
I'd retire today, right now. I would watch this show because he's watching. Huge fan. Let's go to the next one.
So, we're all taking Bills. Cleveland Browns at the Cincinnati Bengals. Traditionally, I would say this is going to be the toilet bowl of the week, even though that's a Zach statement. I would say this is the toilet bowl of the week. But instead, I'm going to say this is the upper decker of the week.
How fucking dare you?
I gave it higher up. It's the upper decker.
It shouldn't be even near a toilet. It's at least like the spit cup of your fucking toothpaste or whatever.
Upper decker, baby. Upper decker game. I've always said that. That's always been a thing I've said. Never said it, but I've said it right now, and I've always said it. Upper decker game of the week, which is when you poop in the tank instead of the toilet bowl. Don't know why I had to tell you what that was, but the Cleveland Browns at the Cincinnati Bengals. I am taking the Browns in this game. They're going to have a comeback game. They're going to go 5-2. They're still going to be a Here's the thing. The Bengals are bad. I think Burrow is going to be a great quarterback, but the Bengals are bad. I'm taking the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, the first game was close by the end, right? The final score was close, but if you watch the first game, the game itself was not a close game, right? Like, it was just Browns go up a few touchdowns, Bengals retaliate, same on until the end of the game. I feel like because the last game ended close, this one's going to be a blowout. I think it's going to be a blowout for the Browns. Cincinnati's got a rookie quarterback. They're going to have flashes of brilliance. T. Higgins has been surprisingly awesome. They have weapons.
Yeah, I've had him in fantasy. So
yeah, they have weapons, but they're not going to win a game against the Browns. Although I did do some research on like the actual like spread and what other people are picking, and ESPN does this like matchup predictor. All of that's pretty close on this. Like, most people think it's going to be a close game. I do not. I think it's going to be a blowout for the Browns. Yep. And they have to bounce back because they got their asses beat last week.
Yeah, they did. I know. I hope Sean just got bored. I hope Sean got bored and just left. He's heard everything you said. I got to apologize to Derek for what I said last week. Got a little heated.
I'm real glad this is not like normal Browns fans though. But this is what happens when the Browns are your number 2 team, which they should be anyone's number 2 team.
They're not my number 1. They're not my number 2 team. They're my number 1 team in the AFC.
Right. So this is what I was going to say is that I accept your apology because they ended up just Brownsing it, which is like what.
Well, okay. We don't got to get into it. This is my time. You've had your Steeler time. Unless you want to take a shot. If you take a shot, then we can talk more Steelers.
Sean Marsh picked the Bengals, by the way.
I had a really, really good weekend last weekend.
Yeah, Derek, can you highlight Sean's picking the Bengals?
Bengals.
No, the one before it. The point before it.
That's fine. He can think that. He can think that.
I just
just know the Pickems on the line too, bud. I think the Browns are gonna come back this week with a vengeance of getting slaughtered.
Yeah,
for sure.
I agree.
I think I don't know if it will be a blowout, but I think it will just be another repeat of their first meeting this season.
Yeah, I just that's why I took the Browns too. Is this they lost big against a far more superior team, and they're going to come out and show the Bengals.
I just don't think it's fair to call it a toilet bowl when a team's 4-2. I just don't think that's fair.
It's just because it's a toilet bowl because it's the Browns.
Yeah, because it's Brown. But don't you feel like we're just kind of giving them like a sympathy pick?
No, we don't. No, we do not.
No, I'm not talking about you, but I'm talking about me and Derek. Like, Derek's point was literally that they did so bad that they're going to do better.
They're still 4-2.
Yeah.
I will say this.
4-2. 4-2?
I will say this. There's a lot of teams that start 4-2 that end up being dog shit. Ask the Lions from every year in the history of the Lions.
That's true. Okay.
You know how many times the Lions have started 4-2?
We made the picks. We all picked the
All
Browns.
right. We'll move on. We got the Dallas Cowboys at the Washington Red Tails. Trick you?
Oh,
No.
God.
Trick you?
I kind of want to switch my pick, but I'll
The Washington Football Club team for men. Boy, this is actually kind of a harder pick for me. So it's on Sunday, so I feel like Dalton will be better. However, their defense is so fucking terrible.
horrendous.
That I could not in my heart find it in a way to pick them.
I should go pick up Redskins players for fantasy right now.
Oh God!
I am going with Sean.
I think the music got louder right there.
What?
Son of
You
a
said it.
Did I?
You said I'm gonna go pick up.
Oh my God, I did. I said, oh my God.
Yes.
I didn't even notice.
First of all, you're a racist.
God damn it. Fuck. I've had 5 beers already.
I've just had the one.
God damn it. Why did
It's really nice to not have this tonight.
The only reason I look like I've been drinking so much is because I cried for 3 straight minutes because of the helmet thing.
I honestly said it and didn't think a thing about it. I was thinking about the players on the Washington Football Club after I said it. I was like thinking about who I could go pick up. I didn't even.
By the way, Zachariah, I love the glass you're drinking out of. You're a very classy broad.
Thanks. It says good beer on it. I don't know if the camera is going to pick that up. Probably not, because it's clear. So if there was a background, you could see that it says good beer. It's from Bitter Creek Ale House. It's local.
It's local.
So
it's local. You wouldn't get it.
So where's your shots at, boys?
I don't. The reason I wasn't pulling it out immediately is because I was hoping you'd forget.
Yeah, fuck, dude. God damn it.
Whatever. We know that you wanted this all along.
No, I didn't. Were you guys looking at me when I said that?
Sean, how many bottles have you gone through before we got to
the second?
By the way,
hold on, real quick. Sean, hold that up real quick.
Hold on, let me pour the shot.
No. Okay, fine. You hold that up though. You said this is the second. It's gone.
Hey,
this is my first one.
Sean, this is our first bottle. This is my first bottle.
You've gotten my Snapchats.
I get all of them. Yeah.
So Derek, you don't.
I live vicariously through your Snapchat. I don't need to drink on Sundays.
When we're done here, I'll add you on Snapchat.
Okay, because I take shots throughout Football Sunday when I get real sad.
Mighty Ducks, baby.
Hold on.
Oh, very nice.
My favorite
like that.
Star Wars character.
Hobble Creek.
Oh, it's so much just garbage alcohol. All right. So what did you guys pick? I chose the football club for men.
I forgot that we were even talking about things.
Yeah, me too.
I
Fuck, damn it. I'm so pissed, dude.
You know how normally on Pickem I have a lot of insight, like like I actually watch football, but like you know what I'm talking to you casuals usually,
Yeah.
and I don't have any of that this week.
I do miss James at the college. I do miss his intro for us, where he talked about how I'm the hard hitting like
Sports
facts, and then he would play clips of us talking about like Dragon Ball Z. I do miss those days. You know what I should do is I should reach out to James and have him do us
dude, what a radio voice.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay. Sean, do you want to take this next one?
Who are you picking?
So,
are you picking Washington or Cowboys?
No, we talked about people getting embarrassed last week. I think no one got more embarrassed than the Dallas Cowboys. I also think they're still a pretty decent offense. It was one of those games where, yes, at the end of it when it's over, you can look back and say they got stomped, right?
Sure.
But Ezekiel Elliott fumbled the ball twice really early. In certain games, once they start snowballing, they just never recover.
Yeah.
So a game that could have been competitive and close turned into a disaster. And they don't have the type of defense where you can fall behind like that. It just kind of seemed like they gave up. They had that game against the Falcons earlier in the year where they fought back really hard and they ended up winning it.
Sorry.
I don't know if they thought lightning was going to strike twice or something, but there was a certain sequence at the end of the game where I believe there was 6 or 7 minutes left. Minutes. Now, there's no way they would have came back. They were down like 4 touchdowns, but there was 6 or 7 minutes, and they drove the entire field. But they took 5 of the minutes to drive the entire field, and they made the point that I don't know who the commentators were. I think it was Joe Buck, and I think that they were the ones who covered the game.
Yeah,
they were like this. Yeah. They were like, this is the ugliest like 80-yard drive we've ever seen. Because normally an 80-yard drive is masterful, right? You milk the clock, you drive the entire field, you always convert on third down. But they did this when they were trying to come back in the game. They ran the clock for the Cardinals. It was one of the weirder, more embarrassing things I had ever seen. And then when they got in the red zone, they finally did score, but painfully.
It was.
That being said, when they finally did score, I think it gave them just enough momentum to go into this next week. Like, I think that's all they're going to remember, hopefully.
I feel like Andy Dalton he obviously needed a whole game. And then, like you were saying, his record on primetime games is not good.
Yeah, and also he's the most dog shit primetime player that's ever existed in the history of sports. Overall, if you go back to his rookie year, he was drafted. I brought this up as well in the chat. He was drafted the same year as Cam Newton. They have an identical record in that amount of time. Except for Andy Dalton has like a few more losses because I think he just played more games because of Cam Newton's like injury history. But like regular season record, they're basically the same.
That's crazy to think of.
But Andy Dalton's primetime record is...
You said it's 1-6 now, right?
No. He's 0-6 in the playoffs.
Oh.
And he is like 3-17 or 4-17 in prime time games, so Sunday night or Monday night or Thursday night.
Okay. I guess I just skimmed through that text when you sent it. I don't know.
That being said, this is at 1:00. I'm taking the Cowboys, and I'll take Dalton as long as it's not in prime time.
Yeah, I kind of want to switch my pick, but I'm not going to because I want to beat Sean. Cowboys.
You think Sean picked the Redskins? God damn.
Oh, why?
So I didn't have much left. This is all I got left. So if we could just move on after this.
Guys, I just want to point out that UFC 254, the biggest pay-per-view of the year in the UFC, is at
Don't pick the Cowboys.
Is at noon tomorrow.
Okay.
Because normally they're at 8:00 here.
Can we watch it together?
Well, unless you're going to stream it illegally, I guess I could give you my login stuff.
No, I don't care that much.
So
I just thought it'd be fun. Like, we watched it together that one time. It was fun.
So Khabib, the main event, right?
Yeah.
Khabib who beat Conor. He's super. He's a mega star in the Middle East. So instead of playing it at 8:00 here, like they normally do for any pay-per-view, regardless of where it's taking place, in Abu Dhabi, they're having to wake up at like 4 a.m. so we can get 8 p.m. pay-per-views. But because Khabib is so popular in the Middle East, they are doing it at noon here. That way it's in prime time there. So normally I have all Saturday to do whatever, hang out with my boo, get all that in, and then at night I'll watch the fights. They're at noon tomorrow. So if I am a mess tomorrow for the Khabib fight at noon, like I don't want to wake up and clean my house because I'm entertaining guests. Hopefully Sean is one of them.
Okay, well, guess what, dude? You're the one that just said the R word.
Yeah, I know it's my fault, and I'm blaming some existential figure right now.
Okay, this is what we're doing the rest of the year. When it comes down to the Washington Football Club pick, we don't talk about it. We make the pick.
We gotta move on.
We make the pick.
You're on your third bottle. You have to go buy your third bottle, baby.
Oh yeah, I know. I know what I have to do.
Guys, the lady's not going to be happy with me because I'm going to be a sassy boy.
I'm sorry. This is all I got left.
That's all right. I feel like you've taken enough shots for all of us.
Well, and I'm on my.
A lot of people do know this, but "Take a Shot for Me" is the best Drake song.
Salute, brothers.
Anyways, let's go to the next game.
Yes, please.
The Green Bay Packers are traveling to Houston to play the Houston Texans. Wow. I cannot believe the Houston Texans are 1-5. It's the most alarming thing for me for the season so far. The Packers
am not surprised at all.
No. The Packers are 4-1, and I'm not surprised about that at all. So I went with the Packers in this one. Pretty easy choice for me, personally.
Yeah, I feel like Packers just got their first loss. It's pretty hard to believe they're going to lose 2 in a row.
Yeah.
The Texans are in every game, right? Like, doesn't it, like, that because you have Deshaun Watson in fantasy, so you realize he has all of these like second half comebacks.
He's been my best player. Like he's a great quarterback. He does not.
And he makes magic in a bottle a lot of times, but it almost feels like too many times already, right? Like even though they're 1-5, he's made all of those games close because he's so talented. But that team is so bad.
Yeah.
And they fire their head coach, who's also their general manager. And now they seem like they have no direction at all other than the fact that Deshaun Watson is their quarterback. Green Bay has played incredibly smart all season, except for the Tampa game. A lot of times they don't have their best players out there, right? Like their receiving core is not healthy.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers just seems to always be making the exact right play at the exact right time, which I assume that means their coach is making the exact right call at the exact right time. They're a smart football team. They just play good football. And I feel like the Texans do the opposite of that.
Yeah. So you're going Packers, obviously.
Yes. I don't think that there's a huge talent discrepancy, by the way. I think there's a huge discrepancy in the way the two teams are managed.
Yep. Well, and actually, if there is a talent discrepancy, it could be in the favor of Houston. It could be argued that it's in the favor of Houston, but yet they're still terribly mismanaged.
Right. It's a wash with what we've seen most of the season. But when like Devontae Adams and a lot of the Packers are healthy, I would swing in the favor of the Packers. But there's still people on, like, the Texans still have name brand players. They're just not a good team.
No.
And they got rid of their best wide receiver. Like, Will Fuller and Cooks are both okay.
Yep.
They're both very explosive.
Right. And that team does explode, right? That's how they come back in games.
That's how they came back almost last week.
They come back almost every week, but they don't win those games.
Yeah. So what did you say, Derek?
There's 2 Packers so far.
Green Bay and Green Bay.
I went with Green Bay. I think it's going to be a shootout, but I think Green Bay gets it in the end.
Carolina Panthers at the New Orleans Saints. I'm going with an upset in this game. I am taking the Panthers in this game.
No explanation.
No, I don't really do the explanation. I go with my gut. I feel like this is first off, this is my upset of the week. But I feel like the Panthers have been on a roll. I like Teddy Bridge. I'm a Teddy Bridgewater advocate, and I like him starting any team. I really wish that Teddy Bridgewater would have held out at the Saints and got that starting position.
No, I think Carolina is the perfect fit for him.
I mean, it's yeah. It's just I liked him. You remember those games where Breeze went out, right? Like, and Bridgewater was there to like keep the team in playoff contention, and to me, it was just like, man, this is like a great fit. Like, but Breeze wanted to keep playing.
So I know this is going to come as a surprise to probably everybody because I picked the Carolina Panthers week in and week out to my own detriment. Because I also believe in them. I think they have a good defense. I like teams with game managers now, which I never thought I would. I've always kind of liked the flashier teams.
Is that why you love the Falcons?
Well, I mean, yeah, I started liking the Falcons the year they drafted Michael Vick. So, technically, I started liking them the year before because they made the Super Bowl, 2 years before because they made the Super Bowl. But
who was the quarterback when they went to that Super Bowl?
So Dan Reeves was the coach, and number 12. He was old as dirt. Because we had Jamal Anderson as our running back. Oh man. The Hobble Creeks hit my brain.
Oh, me too.
I even have the number in my head. Like, I have like the exact player in my head. Don't tell me we'll come back to it. Nobody tell me I will not touch my computer. Okay. We will circle back to that.
Okay, we'll circle back. My turn?
I can literally tell you the entire like rest of the offense, but I cannot tell you our quarterback's name.
So I don't ever want to sleep on the Saints by any means, but I really want the Panthers to pull it off because fuck the Saints, fuck their fans, and fuck Drew Brees. I don't think I have to say much more than that, do I?
No. So you're not taking the Saints.
Not taking the Saints. I'm going with
the Panthers.
The Panthers. I think the dirty Panthers are gonna.
Guys, you guys never. I passed before even like completing the thought there because we started talking about the 1998 Atlanta Falcons. I have the New Orleans Saints. They have a better defense and a better offense. Michael Thomas might play, and Alvin Kamara might play.
Michael Thomas isn't playing.
Michael Thomas is the new Julio Jones. He's going to be questionable every week for the rest of time.
They made him leave practice. to yesterday.
Well, if the New Orleans Saints receiving core becomes the Oakland Raiders offensive line, and it turns out they all have COVID, then yes, I'll probably take the Carolina Panthers. Which we'll get to it. We'll circle back to it. But
I just think Robbie Anderson is just the man this year. By the way, I'm big on Robbie Anderson.
Oh, so Thomas is officially out, according to Sean.
Yeah. No, Thomas is out, man. That's why I played Scott in my fantasy, was because Thomas was out.
I have to make some choices because I wasn't prepared for that. I mean, I've been winning without him this year, but I got to figure it out again.
I have not been winning without him. I haven't been.
Well, I've lost more games than I've won. I'm not saying that. I'm saying I've won a couple games without him, but I've lost like 4 games also.
But the point is, I'm taking the Panthers.
Well, now knowing that, I kind of want to switch, but I also feel like my theme this week is just taking the better coach.
The better coach.
Yeah, the New Orleans Saints have Sean Payton.
Well, why would you consider him the better coach?
Because we don't know enough from Carolina's head coach. This is his first year in the NFL. He was coaching at Baylor this time last year.
But we know that Sean
Baylor was really good.
We know that Sean Payton
I think he seems like a good coach.
You know what? You're being a Falcons fan. Fuck Sean Payton. Fuck the Saints. Also, you being a Falcons fan, fuck the Panthers. But let's go Panthers.
The fact that you both took the Panthers solidifies that I'm staying with the Saints.
Well,
but go to the next one.
I just think the Panthers are going to pull it off. I really do.
Oh, Sean Lewis is watching now. That's hilarious. So we got all the Seans. Hey, guys, move on to the next pick. I got to pee real quick.
Okay.
All right. Oh, no, you got to go pee right now?
Hurry. Do it fast. We can wait. We're already an hour and 50 minutes in. Who cares?
We'll vamp.
How about let's talk shop, man. Let's talk shop. So I think
we're up to 193 likes on Facebook. Oh. By the way, if you're watching this show and you have not liked our Facebook page, go like our page. We're at 193, and I'd love to be at 200 by the end of the week. Sean Lewis.
Let's read that. What did he say?
Saying here. Any opinion why any other teams that have a string of COVID infections have been pushed up to later dates, but the Raiders got their game moved up, and we have almost our entire O-line? Well, Sean, at Home Run Jack here, he thinks it's all a conspiracy theory.
Well,
it might be, though.
I did think that, and then I didn't play Julio Jones last week, and look at me, a powdered egg on my face.
Well, so here's the thing: is we need.
Oh, he's back. The boy's back.
Okay, he's back. Good. We saved Zach. We saved this one for you.
What happened?
Well, we saved it for you. We just talked about how we need people to go out and like our page. Because we need 200 likes. We're at 193. I want 200 by the end of the week.
200.
200.
Well, good luck.
You're part of the show.
You're on the show. You know that, right?
Yeah, but I'm like the cool guy who doesn't care.
Yeah, you care a little bit. All right.
I cry every night that we don't have 200 likes, but.
So, we have
200 followers. 200 likes, followers, people.
I would.
Pittsburgh Steelers are traveling.
Did you guys not even make it to the next pick yet?
No, we waited for you. The Pittsburgh Steelers are traveling to Tennessee. Finally.
You peed really fast.
That was really.
I didn't wash my hands.
Did you dock?
He docked a little bit. The Pittsburgh Steelers are traveling to Tennessee finally. This is a delayed game. This should have happened earlier already. This is technically, I think this is actually the Steelers' bye week. But not now. There's no such thing as a bye week in the Steelers world. The Steelers are going to Tennessee to play the Titans. So I think this is going to be a tough game. This is going to be a really rough game. This is also the first real test. I thought the Browns were going to be the first real test. I thought that was actually going to be a really close scoring game. And
well, you didn't say that last week.
No, I did. Go back and watch. I
know you did. I'm just being a dinkus.
Go back and watch last week. I thought it'd be a really close scoring game. Now, that said, I think Derrick Henry is a beast, and I love him. I still feel like the Steeler defense can put some stops on Derrick Henry. I'm still a little worried about the secondary. But if the Steelers can keep Henry down, now you got to make Tannehill throw a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and take the Steelers on the road. I'm also just rooting for it. This is also my bias. I'm also just rooting for it. I would love an undefeated Steelers for at least 6 games. 6-0 Steelers. I'm taking them on the road against the Titans. I don't know. I still don't know what the Steeler offense is. Like, it feels...
They have not played a lot of impressive teams so far.
Yeah. It feels like the Steelers offense is getting it together, but they have not played a lot of impressive teams. The first team they played over 500 now
was the Browns.
It's in the Browns, but they're also the Browns. So it's
right.
Like it's hard. It's really hard to gauge.
Right, because they're like currently 4-2, future 4-12, right? Like,
right. So it's hard. It's really.
I know what you're doing. I know what the fuck you're doing. I can see in your face. Can we just move on? If you talk any longer about the Steelers, you're taking a fucking shot, and that's.
Who's your pick? Who's your pick, Sean?
No,
anyway, I'm taking it.
No, I got to go last on this one.
All right. Yeah. I'm switching back to the Titans. Fuck you guys.
Well, no, hold on. I'm not done. Oh, so also I think
I'm not done.
No, hold on. So
I'm
I think
done.
the Steelers also have the Ravens next week.
Mm-hmm.
So going into that game, I would also really love a Steelers win, just to go into that game against the Ravens, which I think is that's the ultimate test. They're in the same division. It's the fucking Ravens. So a win here would be pretty monumental for the Steelers. So I hope that's taken into account. So
and the Ravens are on bye week, right?
I think the Ravens are on bye right now. Yeah.
Well, that's not good for you guys.
So
I agree with Sean Lewis's point there. I think we all do that the Steelers are the least real unbeaten team just because of who they have played. But no matter what like sport you watch, no matter what,
no.
It's okay, Derek. I can see the fire coming up in you a little bit. But no matter what sport you watch, you cannot you don't pick your schedule. The schedule happens, right? So no matter what your record says, it really doesn't matter who you've played. At the end of the year, you are that record. So I don't think they've played anyone real. I think the Titans have had a much harder 5-0, if you ask me. But the Titans hang their hat on running the football. The Steelers have the number 2 rush defense in the league. They are a top 5 overall defense. And they have more weapons on the outside. And I know Tannehill looks great. Some people think he's like a dark horse for the MVP. But if you ever notice, the dark horse for anything doesn't win anything ever. That's why they're the dark horse. They're a good person. Because the reason dark horses exist is because we need someone to place 3rd or 4th in things. So that's why they exist. Because we need a 3rd or a 4th option. Steelers are loaded. I like the 4 of their receivers over the 2 Titans receivers that I'm aware of that exist. I think they're going to do a good job against Henry. I really do. And I think that what it comes down to for me is that the Titans secondary is exploitable. and there's just too many options for the Steelers. So unless Ben Roethlisberger truly goes out and shits the bed, I'm taking the Steelers.
Okay, first off, Colin Howard took the Eagles as the dark horse team, and then they won the Super Bowl, by the way.
Colin Coward?
Yeah.
I thought you said Colin Howard for a second.
Don't give a shit. You know his name's Colin. You know his first name.
I'm talking about dark horse candidates for MVP. There's always dark horses because we need people to take those spots. There's always dark horse teams. The Giants won 2 Super Bowls as dark horse teams, but it's the NFL. Any team who's not a 1 seed is a dark horse team in the NFL.
Listen to me. I'm switching back to the Steelers.
Sean Lewis gave us a love, by the way, so thank you.
Thanks, bud.
Yeah. Even though
I switched back to the Steelers. I had the Steelers originally. So this is what happens. We come on the show, and then Derek sucks the Steelers' dick so much
that he makes you want to pick the other team.
Yes.
These slots are not so hard.
And I know in my heart of hearts, the Steelers are going to beat the Titans for all the things that you said.
It's fine, guys. I'm fine with this.
Well, stop sucking their dick.
I'm not gonna lie. At one point when Derek was talking, I almost switched to the Titans, and then I would have had to, if in my head, formulate an entire different script of what I was going to say.
What about the part where I said that I still think it'll be a tough game?
What about the part where when we get to the Falcons game, and then Zach's very modest, he doesn't say much. And then when it comes to the Niners game...
Well, as a Falcons fan, it's really hard to be cocky.
Nope. Doesn't matter.
But his team's not very good right now.
You know,
I've been humbled by life.
Last year, when I was on the show, and the Niners were doing really good, and I was on the show last year the whole time, and the Niners were doing super good.
I think you were pretty cocky the whole time.
I didn't say a word.
I think you were the whole time, though. I know you were, though, in fact.
Mentally confident is different than...
Hey, guys, this next game is going to be very good, even if the entire Las Vegas Raiders offensive line has COVID. It's still going to be a very good game.
Wait, are we talking about the next game?
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, we all picked the Steelers. Let's move on. Because the next game is the last game is 2 5-0 teams, right?
Mm-hmm.
We all think it's going to be close. I disagree. I think the Steelers are going to win by quite a bit. I think the next game is the game of the week. If you're going to watch any game and you're a casual, like you two simpletons, I'm gonna start saying, I've been watching a lot of UFC. I've been watching a lot of wrestling talk. They got me all fired up. Booker T's got me fired.
Yeah, I want to let you guys both know right now. I am super scared for this game on Sunday.
I want you all
as a Steelers fan, especially for the last 2 years. I have been worried about a lot of games. This is a game that worries me because
if you keep going, you're gonna have to take a shot, dude.
Yeah, we have to move on.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are traveling to Las Vegas this week.
We're charging you by the minute for that beanie, bud.
Vegas. We go play the Raiders. I like so far what I've seen. Couple hitches here and there. I like what I've seen from Tampa Bay. But
oh yeah, you're the guy who doesn't think Tampa's that good. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I still don't.
That's like remembering your friend's like a flat earther. Like when you're like, oh yeah, you're the guy who thinks Tampa's not that good. Vegas thinks that Las Vegas, the place, not the team, thinks that they're so good that they're the number 1 team to bet on right now to win the Super Bowl. They have the best odds to win the Super Bowl.
They're not going to the Super Bowl, so I mark this point right now on the show. They're not going to the Super Bowl. But
I won't remember because we already said Washington's name wrong a couple times, so I'm going to forget this.
That said,
I'm glad you said Washington. Let's not even try to think about that team. I have no more liquor right now.
I like this Sean Lewis. I don't know him, but I might like him.
It's Adam. It's Adam Olinger's cousin.
Okay.
I don't trust him.
I'm
I do.
taking the Raiders at home. Even with all the COVID stuff, I'm taking the Raiders at home. That's not a bad team, man. I mean, the Raiders are 3-2. It's not a terrible team.
Derek, the only reason I was trying to talk you out of this, because I also have the Raiders at home.
I have the Raiders at home. I wasn't talked out. I already had.
I know you already had them, and that's why I was trying to talk you out of it. I thought if I manipulated you somehow through
ESP.
It'll never happen because the Buccaneers are not on my Super Bowl list. I am taking the Raiders at home.
Hold on. So you're taking the Raiders, Zach.
I'm taking the Raiders. So I will say this. Today, when I woke up, the more I read about the COVID situation for the Oakland Raiders scares me a little more than other teams, because other teams, you don't read a lot about it with their entire starting offensive line, which is what's been saving Derek Carr's ass all season. And any John Gruden coach team, like it's a guard heavy football operation. I thought this game going into it was going to be like a 30+ on both side type of shootout. And I thought the Raiders could win that type of game. I'm a little more hesitant now, but I'm not going to change the pick. Now, if I wake up Sunday morning and they're like, the entire offensive line for the Oakland Raiders is out, Las Vegas Raiders, sorry, then I might change my pick because I think Tampa Bay is very good. But I like Las Vegas. I like Las Vegas to win a lot of games. I've been saying it since before the season started. They completely built their team to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. We saw that when they beat the Kansas City Chiefs. They're meant to win big games. They have so many weapons, a lot of home run threats, but they can also run the ball. And John Gruden's going to coach a game to where you can do either, right? Like, he's going to take shots when he needs to take shots. He's going to play safe when he needs to play safe, but they need their offensive line.
You guys, all I was saying is that I hope the Steelers win this going into a game with the Ravens next week. And
that's cool. For? Hey, Sean, who did you pick?
All the Steelers talk?
Sean, who did you pick? Yeah, he has to take a shot every time he talks about the Steelers from now on.
Too much. I don't care if you talk about them, but you kind of talk about them too much. But
I'm having a good year, man. I'm having a fun year.
Something we didn't talk about, which is weird to me. Or did we? We did. I don't know. I've kind of been drunk the whole time.
Yeah.
Did we talk about Antonio Brown?
Yes, but he's not playing until after week 9. He's still on suspension.
After, yeah.
No, but like, fuck, dude. I'm picking the Raiders.
It's
wow, you're going Raiders. Cool.
It's Tom Brady. He has some like clutch white slot receiver until Antonio Brown is able to play.
I will say that if the Raiders win this game, what a monumental win for them. Honestly, like, that's a big win. It's a huge win for the Raiders in this game.
I honestly think I think they pull it out. I do.
So
I just think they have more. I don't know why. I'm not like hating like Derek is with Tampa Bay. And I didn't have much faith with the Raiders coming in, but now that I've seen more games of the Raiders playing, I don't know. I think the Raiders just get the edge and they pull it off.
Right. Normally, most years we would say, "Wow, how did we already forget that Tampa Bay just dominated the Packers, who we all thought was very good? They dominated. They kicked their ass for 4 quarters of football."
Mm-hmm. They literally.
But we still want to pick the Raiders. I don't know if that means that we're all just Tom Brady haters.
No, because I'm not.
Or it's because the Raiders really showed us something when they beat the Chiefs. And even in their losses, they've been impressive. They beat the Saints, they beat the Chiefs, and then they have lost tough to a few games. They also do have Ruggs, which I can't highlight the comment. I don't know why. I used to be able to highlight people's comments, the one that Sean sent. But it's true. They finally got a couple playmakers. They have a running back who's a playmaker, and they drafted multiple wide receivers this year that can change the game.
Yep.
I'm benching Ruggs. I probably should play him.
Probably should play him. All right, so we got. Oh man!
And even if they lose this game, by the way, real quick, we have 7 teams in the playoffs this year, so 4-3 is still okay.
Yeah. Kansas City Chiefs at the Denver Broncos. I'm taking the Chiefs. It's just I know the Chiefs lost against the Raiders, but it's hard to go against them. Honestly, at this point, it's hard to go against the Chiefs. I'll take my team over them because of my bias. But even then, I'm like, well, I'm going to take the Chiefs.
I'm going to wake up Sunday morning, and I'm going to see Drew Lock hit the field. And you guys are both going to get a message. Like always.
If I get a message about Drew Lock, I swear to God.
He's the future, man. So
you know what?
Derek knows this.
No, he doesn't.
And you probably know this as well because you've always been here. But in the last 5 years, I have this really funny tendency of waking up Sunday morning right before the game start and going, man, I wish I would have picked this game this way. And every time that I say that team actually does win. I would never actually pick it because every time that I do wake up and make that switch, that team definitely loses. But if I just send the message out into the ether, that team always wins. So last week I messaged you both because you were there. I messaged you both and I said, Drew Lock's hitting the field. The Broncos are beating the Patriots. And then they did. You were both there, so there's no way to dispute that.
I actually don't recall.
I'll just send it to you again. I'll just screenshot it, send it back to you. That won't be happening this week, though. Is what I was about to get to. The Chiefs are going to win this game. But I will send you the screenshot. From when I sent it last week, because I did. I'm usually right on Sunday mornings.
Actually, no. I do remember. You don't have to. I remember now. I was super pissed because I played Cam Newton in that fucking game.
Yeah, I don't know if that was more the Broncos won it or it kind of seemed like the Patriots just shit the bed.
The
12 points from the Patriots.
The Patriots didn't utilize their COVID break. Those cunts. Anyways. I picked the Chiefs. Don't have to say much. Fuck the Broncos.
Go. San Francisco 49ers at the New England Patriots. I'm less on my 49ers pick for the Super Bowl because of Bosa being out, obviously. But I'm going to take the 49ers over the Patriots because how can I statistically analyze this to the ground? Fuck the Patriots to hell. So go Niners. Let's hope they can just make it just a real nasty thing.
Real nasty boy.
I think it'll probably be a close game, but also I just hope it isn't. I hope the Niners just fuck them.
This was a hard game to pick, actually. I used a little more logic than just fuck that guy and I like the other guys, but I took the Patriots. I know they're 2 and.
Look me in the eyes, motherfucker. Why you say it?
I'm the better team on both sides of the football.
Horse shit.
2 greatly coached teams. The Patriots are only being carried by being coached right now.
You're not looking at my eyes.
Well, I don't know. I got to look right here.
See, there you go. Because I'm looking in your eyes.
I'm trying to look at my notes. But
fuck your notes.
Hello, Jose. Thanks.
Yeah. So yes, the Patriots are 2 and 3. They are also a better defensive team and a better offensive team currently.
Better defensive team because of injuries.
True. 100% true. They're a better defensive team because of injuries.
Okay. You don't have to look me in the eyes anymore.
Even though you previously believed that the Patriots were having people sit out for the entire year because they were trying to tank.
They had a lot of people opt out this season, and it's proven on paper.
The Patriots are going to win this game.
Okay. Are you done?
Yeah. I don't have anything else there.
They're not going to win. Niners are back. This is it. This is the year. This is the season. I can't even convince myself. They did beat the Rams, and it was really cool. I'm picking the Niners to beat the Pats. But when I'm watching the game, I don't know if it's going to happen.
Yeah. By the way, I don't care if there's fans or not fans. This game's in Foxborough.
I think offensively, the Niners are better.
So I will say this:
I don't care what the Pats think they have on defense. George Kittle's back, Deebo Samuel's back.
I don't think it matters. Listen to me on this.
You listen.
On Tuesday, I picked this game, and here's why.
I'm gonna dock you, bro.
Think about what happened the other times that the San Francisco 49ers went to the East Coast.
Wait, hold on. Wait, no.
Other way. You got to do better, man. It's not that hard to figure out. It works the same way every time.
Well, because I was up here earlier, so I could have just done this earlier. But like this way. Anyways, fuck off. Hurry up.
You understand that the 49ers couldn't do well against the Giants on the East Coast.
By the way, this is the game that fucks me over, and this is the game that I wake up on Sunday and I go, nah, Patriots.
Yeah.
Like, you know, this game.
Hold on.
This is that game where I go like, well.
Hold on. Fuck you. When they played the Giants, they were playing with a backup QB. Okay. Okay, now you're getting me on the fucking MetLife Stadium thing that I'm ready to fucking go down with.
Yeah, MetLife hurts players. MetLife hurts people.
That place needs to go. Go.
The Patriots are going to win that game, man.
When you watch your two first rounders go down in 2 minutes in a season where you're like, we're going back to the Super Bowl. When I called it, when we did our first show before the season started.
But listen, man.
Your two top defensive players go down in 2 minutes in the same fucking MetLife cunt stadium.
If you don't think that stinky old Bill is going to get in Jimmy G's head going back into Foxborough, you're crazy.
My dick is about to be in every single one of your mouths, all of you.
So,
dude,
I'm still taking the Niners, but I might switch to the Patriots.
Yeah, you have to trust the process.
Don't let them fucking sway you. Bullshit. They have the better team.
The Jacksonville Jaguars.
Their broken defense is looking better and better. They just stopped the Rams with fucking Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp, and fuck that, dude. Fuck that. I'll fucking
Darrell Henderson Jr.
I'll fucking come after
I have the Niners selected right now.
Hurt.
I have the Niners selected right now. The Jacksonville Jaguars are traveling to Los Angeles, the city of angels, to face the Chargers, the team that should not even be in that city. I'm excited for this game. This could be a contender for Toilet Bowl because it's the Jaguars and the Chargers, but I'm always going to be excited for a game that the Chargers play in. Right now I am. I am taking the Chargers at home in this game.
Yeah, trade Minshew, baby.
Based on quarterback play alone. That's why I'm excited, actually.
Minshew would be a great Dallas Cowboy, which is, I believe, something Sean brought up to me the other day. Makes a lot of sense there. Makes a lot of sense a lot of places. But mostly there because of the weapons that they have. Which, by the way, circling back, that's the real toilet bowl of the week. Washington versus Dallas. This game at least has Minshew Mania and Justin Herbert. Like, I'm captivated by this game. I have no interest in the Washington Football Club versus the Dallas Cowboys.
Stop talking about that team.
Yeah,
Because you know I'm going to mess up. You know I'm going to mess up and accidentally say the
cannot
name.
afford any more shots tonight.
Because
Yeah,
I'll
me-
stop in the beer, dude.
I'm not going to say anything.
I am taking Justin Herbert, though, in this game.
I want to.
By the way, he's been so good. This is the best one-win team in the league, is the Chargers.
You're not wrong.
They're better than the Jaguars. I choose them over the Jaguars.
They
And
are
if the Jaguars win, then who cares?
They are the exact They're the exact LA Chargers that were the exact San Diego Chargers that lose every game by less than 6 points. They always do. This seems like a game where Minshew would go off, right? Because he hasn't in a few games. Like, we haven't talked about him in a few games. So this seems like the type of game that Gardner Minshew would go off and just have a big one. I want to believe that Justin Herbert gets one in, right? He's lost a lot of really close games against a bunch of really good teams. So I want to believe he finally gets this one. Like, I won't pick against him because I'm so biased with Justin Herbert. But
Yeah, you really are.
if I wasn't biased, I would 100% be picking the Jaguars in this game to go on the road and win this. Because Minshew's only in his second year, but I don't know if you guys agree, but Minshew seems like a seasoned veteran compared to what Justin Herbert's been doing this season. Herbert's been playing great games and then just completely disappearing at the end of them.
You know,
Which is what rookies do.
Herbert would be a really good Pittsburgh Steeler.
Herbert would be a really good
He was trying.
LA Charger. I'm going to take the Chargers because I think they have a great defense and I don't know, maybe some more talent than the Chargers or than the Jaguars.
You're making me sad I don't have any liquor.
Oh, you finished yours, huh?
Yeah.
I have enough for the rest of the shows for this Pickem.
I mean, what? So is this Gardner's second year?
Yeah.
Right, but doesn't he seem like he's way further along than that just because he's kind of taken over the team?
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
No, the team's still dog shit. I don't know.
The Chargers.
Who'd you
I
take?
have Chark, and every week I'm like, why am I still playing him? But I have to.
Who'd you take, Sean?
The Chargers.
Okay.
They just have the better team.
Oh, sorry.
They just have the better team.
Seahawks at the Cardinals in Arizona. Man, I want to root for the Cardinals. I actually really do. I want to root for them. I'm not gonna though. I actually think the Seattle Seahawks could be a contender this year. It's crazy. I hate saying it because I hate the team, but I still think Russell Wilson is probably a contender for MVP.
I don't think he's a contender. I think he's the only candidate at this point.
He's so good, and man, I just like he's like the quarterback that I watch, and I'm like, I'm jealous. Like, I'm jealous that I don't have him. So, and especially like the last 2 years, it's been like that. This year, I feel fine. But normally I'm like, yeah, I don't know, man. I'd love to have Russell Wilson. Also, just like the guy. He interviews well. Seems like a cool dude. I'm taking Seattle on the road, though.
Yeah, I feel like normally in a 5-0 versus 4-2, it's a little more even on the picks, but I feel like the consensus is that Seattle wins this game, which is funny because their defense is actually pretty damn bad.
It's bad, yeah.
And Arizona exploits bad defenses.
They do.
We saw it against the Cowboys. We saw it against San Francisco. We've seen it a few times this year already. If they have the light of day on offense, they're going to take advantage of you. And they're coming in hot because of the win last week.
Mm-hmm. This is also like a weird NFL, right? Like, if this was in Seattle, you would go like, oh, well, Seattle, obviously. But no fans. Like, no fans anywhere. Like,
right. So if this game was in Arizona and there was fans, I would probably pick the Cardinals. But because I consider this kind of a neutral playing field, I take the veteran Russell Wilson over Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I wouldn't. I would be 100% about the Cardinals riding the momentum into this game. But the Cardinals, by the way, have the 32nd best defense in the league. The single worst defense in the league.
The Cardinals, I will say this for Kyler Murray. I've watched some clips online of him sliding, and it's almost artwork to watch. He has got that baseball slide like Russell does because he played baseball his whole life. So he's got like this baseball slide, and it's beautiful. It's so good, and it's almost like that's going to be his highlight reel is his baseball slide that he does. It's fucking good. It looks awesome.
Yeah, except for it's a super huge hindrance in the NFL because they count you down when you start your slide, and every game I've ever watched from Kyler Murray, he gets short of first downs because he starts sliding before the first down happens instead of just diving for it like quarterbacks have traditionally done in the past. But whatever.
Seahawks. Home run, Jack. Where you at? Who you taking? This is your division, baby. Who you got?
It is. I'm picking Seattle.
Okay.
I think I would pick Seattle anyways, regardless of anything. If there was fans, not home.
I would love for Seattle to lose this undefeated streak.
I just don't think they're going to. And I think now that I feel like the Niners are so defeated, because I do, I think Seattle goes to the Super Bowl.
Nah.
I think a lot of people do think that in the NFC, though.
I think who do you think's gonna? Who do you think's gonna be there over them?
Well, I hate to say it, but between Seattle and Tampa Bay, I'll fucking take Tom Brady any day.
Okay. Well, why do you think that?
Because Tom Brady
and Tampa Bay has a defense. A really good defense.
They do have that.
And defense wins championships unless you're the Kansas City Chiefs.
That's true. Okay, so finally.
Thanks for the reminder.
Finally, Monday night.
You motherfuckers.
Monday night. We got the Chicago Bears. 5-1 Chicago Bears. I can't believe I'm even saying it out loud. Against the Los Angeles Rams. 4-2. Not bad. I am taking the Rams at home. But,
by the way, I think this is super interesting. Oh, no, go ahead. You go ahead real quick.
Well, I was going to say, but I'm not surprised if I'm wrong on this one. I'm taking the Rams at home, but if the Bears somehow pull this out, I'm not mad. This is one of those ones where I'm like, well, I was just wrong that week, you know? Like, the Bears are this team where I'm like, the Bears right now are like, it's not a team I'm going to get behind. But if they win a game and I picked against them, I'm like, well, I should have picked the Bears.
So Sean Lewis brought up a point because we're talking about Tampa. He said a defense and the best wide receiving core in football. If Antonio Brown stays healthy, or not healthy, but on the field, right? Like if he plays, not only is it the best wide receiving core in football, this might be one of the best wide receiving cores ever assembled in the history of football. When Antonio Brown is your third option.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
I do think it's really interesting on this game, though, LA versus Chicago, that, on the app, ESPN app, it says 67% picked LA, 33 Chicago. Doesn't that feel like that's been Chicago all year? They always get the minority pick, even in the Tampa game, which is the one that Sean picked them in. I feel like they were somewhere between
this Sean, not that Sean.
You. Somewhere between like 20 and 30% had him picked in that game. Chicago keeps winning games. Remember this. Even in the game against Atlanta that they came back and won, Atlanta, who's a terrible team, was the favorite on here to win that game. I don't think that like the predictions, the Vegas odds, what the fans are picking, any of that has any indicator to how good Chicago is. I think we want to believe they're not that good.
Could Foles be the answer?
And yes, Sean, I agree with you. I'm only calling him the third option because he's just joined the team. He's easily the best receiver of those three receivers. And it's Tom Brady who's going to throw to a guy like Antonio Brown over Godwin.
And then think about this. AB had an entire 2 years to just not because you saw there was video that he was working out with other quarterbacks. He was working out.
I think he's ready to go. And not only that, but Godwin can't stay on the field. And Mike Evans is, at this point, just a really good red zone target. But he's the best red zone target I've seen in a long time. To the point where you can watch any game where Mike Evans plays and he catches at least one touchdown in the red zone and then gets targeted 2 or 3 other times. So if you don't think that Antonio Brown's going to get even more open from stuff like that, it's crazy. Especially from Dink and Dunk Tom. That's going to be nuts. Anyways, back to the Bears, back to the Rams. We're all discrediting the Bears. We're all going to keep doing it too. Like, I bet all 3 of us picked the Rams, and the Bears are still going to probably upset all of us.
Did you pick the Rams, Derek?
I picked the Rams, yeah.
Derek, who did you pick?
You picked the Rams.
I'm picking the Bears.
I'm picking the Bears. Yeah.
I slept on. I picked the Bears. They won. I slept on them. I picked Carolina. Then the Bears won. I'm not doing it again.
I think just the whole world thinks they're going to come back to earth eventually.
No, here's the thing. The Rams fucking suck. They lost to the Niners last week. The Rams fucking suck. Enough said. The Rams are dog shit. I don't care. See that 4-2? That's a Browns 4-2, bud. That's a Browns 4-2. Right fucking there. So
it's a compelling argument.
Niners beat them, and the Niners are dog shit.
Yeah, and I guess that Chicago doesn't have a 5-1 to compare Chicago to because they're literally the only 5-1 team in the entire league. So, which sounds weird, but I believe that's true just because of the weird way COVID and the schedule has happened. But there's no other 5-1 team, so there's no other 5-1 team to compare them to until then.
Well, that was our pick'em. Thank you, everybody, for watching the show. Had a great time. Hope you had a great time as well. Make sure you look for our stuff, timespentpoorly.com. Our shows will be available on Spotify, iHeartRadio, man, just Google Play. Everywhere you can think of finding a podcast to listen to, you can find it there. Of course, you can just rewatch this video. We're on YouTube, Twitch. I think we're on Periscope. I don't even know what that is.
I don't know what any of those things are.
But we are on all of it.
We are on all of them. Thank you, everybody. Have a great weekend. Enjoy football. Man, it's gonna be a good time. There's some good games. There's some good games going on.
Good games.
Some good games. All right, everybody. Have a great weekend and go Warriors.